It's been over 48 hours since the attack on two policemen outside the Gorakhnath Mutt. The anti-terror squad of the state is now piecing together the mystery of what prompted this 29-year-old to wield a sickle and charge towards Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's mutt. Investigation so far has brought to the fore startling details. Probe agencies have found suspicious content from the accused Murtaza Abbasi's laptop and pen drive, which indicate towards his possible association with terrorist organizations. Sources say that the accused also watched Zakir Naik's videos on lone wolf attacks. Cops are now investigating whether the accused simply watched these videos or was affiliated to terror groups like Islamic State. Probe agencies are also investigating Murtaza's travel history. Investigations have so far revealed that he traveled to Mumbai, Coimbatore and even Nepal in the last few days, and the investigating teams are now traveling the length and breadth of the country to join the dots. The investigation is on one side, and on the other, the kind of reaction that we've seen to this attack from the opposition. If we can recollect, if you can't recollect what the reactions have been, they haven't really said much. And when they did, they ridiculed the terror angle that was being investigated. So the legitimate question tonight is, will the secular lobby accept this bigotry? That's the real question. And debating with me are our esteemed guests. And Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you, why is the lobby so silent tonight? When it is Murtaza, then there is no ideology which you want to call out tonight? Because this attack happens in a mutt, the sickle, the visuals are all there for you to see. The fact that he's following Zakir Naik, the fact that he's affiliated to some organizations as the investigations have shown so far. No ideology to be blamed right now, Sanjay Jha?
Well, Navika, actually, this debate segues from what you did discuss in the previous show, where, fortunately, I got 1 minute and 30 seconds of airtime. But let me add a point here in very straightforward terms. What happened is ugly. These are manifestations of hate. These are symptoms of a society under decay. And I'm not trying to give you some intellectual gibberish. This is a fact. And this is happening simultaneously while you have a Narsiganand in Delhi who's talking about Hindus taking up arms to fix the minority community of Muslims. What are you witnessing here, Navika? Now, you are a seasoned journalist, okay? I'm going to now implore you and be honest with me and tell me, why weren't these debates of communal conflagration, that daily toxicity that all of us live in day after day, why weren't they happening before 2014? They were. There were sporadic instances even then. I'm not going to deny that. Why is it that in India, whether it's your channel, the media in general, social media, you and me, Amit Malviya, Anand Ranganathan, Lokesh Jindal, why are we discussing the Hindu-Muslim binary day in and day out? And that's what we need to find out. I think the BJP and the RSS will be very happy with this extremely sick-minded people who are trying to do what they did in Gorakhpur. That's miserable, that's wretched, that's totally condemnable, and they must be
Why was it not happening? Why was it not happening before? I thought for an intellectual like yourself, you would know the answer. But since you say you don't, Dr. Anand Ranganathan is willing to fill you in.
Well, yes, thank you. I hope this is what we need to find out. Sorry, Anand.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay. No, Navika, it has always been happening. I gave you a lowdown of the list of the number of communal riots that were happening in India since 1950s. We've actually come down to 50,000 per year now. It used to be 1 lakh per year, more than that. And what constitutes a communal riot? It's not Hindus fighting Hindus. For a very limited period of time, it was Hindus fighting Sikhs or something like that, but mostly it's been Hindu-Muslim. So Sanjay is yet again wrong. This Hindu-Muslim thing is not a century old. It is more than a millennia old, and it is going to continue. You read what Tagore said, you read what Ambedkar said. I'm not saying all these things. You may call me a bigot. Secondly, Navika, can I also have castigated all the three on your panel? So only you are left out. Can I also please castigate you now in the spirit of equanimity?
I'm in the gallows tonight.
Okay, because you mentioned Zakir Naik. Now, he's a hero for me. I take strong objection to putting blame on Zakir Naik for what happened yesterday with that gentleman who brought out a machete and charged at the Gorakhnath Temple, because Zakir Naik is not guilty of radicalizing Muslim youth. He doesn't preach hate. He has been made a convenient scapegoat by Muslims and, pardon me, you, who are Islamophobic. That is, they fear Islam. They fear to bring out the orders and the commandments of their holy book in their entirety because they fear being called illiberal and hypocrites. They snare the fundamentalists but spare the fundamentals. Zakir is unapologetic about the fundamentals. Stopping Naik from quoting what is written in the holy book is like preventing me from quoting what is written in Darwin's Origin of Species. We are the medium, Navika, not the origin. How are we guilty? When Naik says, those who abuse Allah and His Messenger, Allah has cursed them in this world and the hereafter and prepared for them a humiliating punishment. He's only quoting chapter 33, verse 57. When he says that a caste chronicling Hindu journalist, even though he is Muslim friendly, will still go to hell. He's only quoting 2198. So are you telling me Zakir is preaching hate because he's quoting hate? Then have the guts to say so. Actually, Navika, please don't. Because you know, गुस्ताखे डैश डैश की एक ही सजा, सर तन से जुदा, सर तन से जुदा.
Well, मेरा तन से जुदा तो आप करने की पूरी preparation कर रहे हैं, but you know, that's not the point. The point really here is the fact that there is a chief minister, a popularly elected chief minister, the choice of the mutt, the choice of the fact that the chief minister was slated to come to that mutt during this festival season, a day after this attack took place, shows a certain amount of radicalization, at least from the looks of it, because investigations are still on. But my question to you, Lokesh Jindal, is you can find an ideology you want to hate when you point a finger towards Amit Shah, the BJP, Narendra Modi, when Karoli happens. But when Gorakhnath Mutt happens, you are absolutely silent on that. Nobody tweets. You know, they randomly tweet on everything from the temperature to the petrol price by every naya paisa that it goes up. But they have no time to tweet on the condemnation of what happened at the Gorakhnath Mutt. Why? Isn't that also an ideology that is to be blamed? And I think, Sanjay Jha, that answers your question. Because before 2014, and I will say that unequivocally, before 2014, people didn't address these issues because there was a snobbery. Now, the reverse snobbery is happening. And the reverse snobbery tells you that for so many years, we've been silent on what was happening, the differential treatment that was happening in the power circles, on the way a certain section of society was being looked at. But now, people can speak about it. And that has changed, Sanjay Jha, whether you like it or not. But I want to ask you, Lokesh Jindal, why is this ideology not condemned?
Navika, first of all, just because that insane person who tried to enter the Gorakhnath, it has ceased to be a shrine now, it's a political institution now. Who has tried to enter a Gorakhnath Mutt. He is simply being handed over to the anti-terrorist squad because he was a Muslim, because Zakir Naik's videos were there in his laptop.
Amit Malviya,
we have presumed that since he is a Muslim and Zakir Naik's laptop is there, then he is a terrorist.
Ill-treated by
now,
you because he is a Muslim.
He
is being ill-treated by you and being handed over to the anti-terror squad because he is a Muslim. You are typecasting Muslims and relating them to terror. Amit Malviya, Gorakhnath Mutt attack is your fault, and you, आप जो कर रहे हैं वो ज़्यादती है. You are being unfair to Murtaza. Respond to Lokesh Jindal and this ideology, this mindset.
Look, Navika, I'm afraid the Congress increasingly sounds like the Muslim League, where they see and can imagine no wrong being done by any Muslim. And if they do, they would not dare to name the person or reveal his identity. Now, let me make a very quick point. What kind of coverage in mainstream media did you see of this instance? I remember when a lone attacker like this had been spotted in Jamia, it was front page news everywhere. Whereas this particular instance came in the corner and inside of newspapers. That is where the problem is. People were okay to malign an IIT by calling him an IIT graduate, but were squeamish about naming him because his name would reveal his identity, his religious affiliation. The problem is not that these instances were not happening before 2014. They were happening, and they were happening in abundance. But the Congress and its allies, because of the secularism that they preached, pulled a wool over it. Now that is not the case anymore. It is more in your face because people are talking about it and you can't hide it anywhere. And if the Congress finds it a convenient narrative to blame the BJP, and if you remember, it started from 2014, from the church attack to the attack on the nun and so on and so forth, and every time
Navika, 10 seconds.
Because it is not the truth.
Well,
the reality is,
I think in recent times, the most abused word in this country has been the word secularism. And it has nothing to do with the dictionary meaning as it is used by political parties today. I'm completely out of time, but Anand Ranganathan, I'm always extremely partial to you. So 10 seconds, and 10 seconds means 10 seconds. Anand.
Yes, no, absolutely. To my good friend Amit Malviya is absolutely right that the mainstream media has not given this coverage at all. And of course, their partiality lies laid bare in front of us. But can I please ask him, has the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ever tweeted about the Palghar Sadhu lynching? Yes or no?
Of course, the Ministry of Home Affairs has taken cognizance of it. If you think the Prime Minister must tweet on everything, Mr. Ranganathan, he's not as you are to tweet on everything. So if his government reacts to it, it makes sense.
The question is, why do we define secularism in a narrow political sense? The question is, why don't we call out every time there is something wrong that is done in the society? Why is it only one ideology that gets blamed for everything? It's a question that now begs an answer, and begs an answer from those who have always found running away from such questions the easier thing to do. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the NewsHour tonight.